Well, what's up guys? Good afternoon. So I thought I would do a video today. I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the massive twat that is Jonathan Joly. So before I start this video, I just want to say that I'm not going to be trying to imply anything here, or I'm not trying to over exaggerate things or anything like that. I'm only going to be saying what really needs to be said. So let's get on with the video. So, what can I say about Jonathan? I just, honestly to God, like, it's to me, it's quite concerning that people are willing to defend him when they should actually be reporting him. I'm very close. I'm very tempted to report him myself because someone needs to be looking into him in particular. Like, no one really, and not so much Anna, because to me Anna's not so bad. Like, I don't think Anna, is really as controversial as Jonathan is. I think Anna, she doesn't really show anything, or in her videos that maybe she shouldn't be, or she doesn't use thumbnails that would be deemed as being inappropriate, for certain reasons. But that's exactly the sort of thing that Jonathan does, and it's the thumbnails alone that should stand out to people. It's not normal for a father to be using the sort of thumbnails that he uses for his videos. Like, it's just massively concerning that he thinks it's okay to use thumbnails like that. Like, it is, I'm not even being funny, but it is genuinely shocking. I really don't know what to say. It's just a horrible situation, really. It's just a horrible nightmare, to be honest, and I think he needs bringing down a peg or two. I think, people need to really be looking into him and what he has on his hard drive. Obviously, I don't think I'm over exaggerating things. I don't think that, I'm making mountains out of molehills, to be honest. As I know a lot of people will think that. I know a lot of people will think that, I'm making mountains out of molehills, or I'm, over exaggerating, and that, some people come at me and say, oh, well, Jonathan's not as bad as, people are making him out to be, and some people will think that people are making Jonathan out to be worse than he is. But I don't really think there is any way for people to actually make Jonathan look worse than what he already is. He's done a pretty good job of that himself. You see certain things in the videos and you see the sort of thumbnails he uses, and it gives you a very good idea of the sort of person that he is, the sort of individual that he is. It was like the other week, I was talking about this the other day, he'd zoomed in on his, he'd zoomed in on Amelia's kind of upper chest area. Now, obviously a lot of people were saying, oh, it wasn't intentional and things like that, but it didn't feel like it was unintentional. It felt like it was, it felt like it was purely intentional. And this is the problem with Jonathan, is it feels like a lot of the things he does are purely intentional, because he knows that people will react to it. He's trying to, a lot of it is attention seeking. He's trying to get attention, that negative attention, or, he knows that people will react to it. He knows that people will comment on it, and that's what he wants. He does these things because he wants people to comment on them. He wants people to give him grief because of it. He wants to, he thrives off the backlash that he gets, for doing certain things. He thrives off the controversy he causes. I'm not going to start getting into the whole thing about Edie being forced to be trans, because I just don't think that that's really kind of relevant for this video. I don't think, I've said what I feel I've spoken in previous videos, I've said I don't really believe that Edie is actually genuinely trans, but that's as far as it's gonna go. I'm not gonna say anything more on that because, Edie being trans isn't really relevant to this video. It's not something that really needs to be spoken about. For this video, I think, this video is more kind of centered on Jonathan and his behaviour and everything and the things that certain things that we see in the videos and the thumbnails that he uses. I think if social services wanted evidence of why people think that Jonathan is a very dodgy individual, all they would need to do is actually look at Jonathan's YouTube videos and his, the thumbnails that he uses, and they would see why people think that Jonathan is such a creep, and why people think that Jonathan is such a dodgy person, like a dodgy individual. It's not like people are making assumptions or trying to imply anything. I've been sort of thinking about it, and I just think to myself, like, we see the certain things that Jonathan does on camera, and we see the thumbnails he uses, and you already get that vibe that he's a very creepy individual, and it kind of makes you fear, like, what could be going on behind closed doors. I don't want to think that there's anything bad going on behind closed doors, but it's hard not to think that. It's hard, especially when you look at people like Jonathan Joly, for example. It's hard not to think that there's nothing going on behind the scenes and like nothing bad going on, nothing sinister going on. Because with people like him, it always feels like there's a chance that it could be something sinister going on behind closed doors, or it could be something bad going on behind closed doors. With Jonathan, it doesn't feel like that isn't a possibility. And I know a lot of people would probably be wanting to know if I would be saying these things if it was someone else. If it was somebody else, I would probably give them the benefit of the doubt, because if it was, especially if it was somebody else who doesn't actually necessarily have the reputation that Jonathan has, which is the major thing here, is that Jonathan does have quite a negative reputation, if you know what I mean. And it's very clear to see that. It's very clear to see that he does have a little bit of a negative reputation, and it's not hard to see why that might be. And it is very concerning. It's very kind of worrying. I don't want to think that, as I said, I don't like to think that something is going on behind closed doors, and I don't want to think that something is going on behind closed doors, but I can't help but think that, I can't help but fear that something could be going on behind closed doors, especially when, with someone like Jonathan. A lot of the things that we've seen in the videos and the thumbnails he uses, the fact that he does things like this is quite worrying. And it is quite concerning. I think there's a lot of things that people have seen, and, it's left them quite deeply concerned. It's left me very deeply concerned. I don't really think that people necessarily need to be investigating Anna, because, I don't, there's not really, she's not really done anything dodgy. I think they need to be looking at, investigating Jonathan. If I was to report them, I probably wouldn't be making a report against Anna, because Anna hasn't really done anything wrong. I think I'd be more wanting to make the report about Jonathan. But, and as I said, it's more concerning that people are defending him and can't see that he's doing anything wrong. They don't think it's weird that every single thumbnail that Jonathan uploads, he's using open mouth thumbnails, or he's making, people don't seem to think it's weird that every thumbnail he uses he's trying to make his look older than they are, you know. It's that alone is very weird, you know. It feels like all Jonathan does is sexualize his kids and, you know, pedobate his kids and make basically, all he's doing, it feels like all he's doing constantly is exposing his kids to, you know, to child predators on the internet, you know, that's it. It feels like that's exactly what he's trying to do, which is why I'm saying that people need to report him, because he shouldn't be allowed to, you know, quite frankly, he shouldn't be allowed to get away with trying to expose his children to, you know, child predators and creeps on the internet, which is what he's doing. You know, and the reason that he's getting away with it a lot of the time is so many people are defending him over it. You know, they shouldn't be defending him, they should be fucking reporting him. That's what any decent person would do, is they would report someone like him. They wouldn't defend someone like him. They wouldn't justify the things that he does. They wouldn't make excuses for the things he does. They would report him. You know, I will probably make a report on Monday. Whether that's via an email or phone call, I don't know. But, like, if it was, you know, I think it's gotten to the point where social services have to get involved. But I know they won't get involved because it's only me reporting them. And I just think that if more people actually did the right thing and reported Jonathan, maybe social services would see, you know, I think social services would look at it and go, well, I think we need to get involved here, you know, we need to look into this. But when, you know, if it's only like myself reporting him and reporting Jonathan and no one else is, you know, they're not going to, you know, social services are not going to see the need for them to get involved, they're not going to see the need to look into it. But if more people report, you know, concerns and say that they're concerned about the things that Jonathan is doing, and, you know, and actually show that and actually give them some evidence of what the sort of things that he's doing, maybe they would be more likely to look into things. You know, like, there's nothing normal about Jonathan or the sort of person that he is. He's a very creepy individual, really, really is. You know, I wish I could say that I was being too critical, but I don't feel like I am. You know, I just honestly, you know, some of the things I've seen in the videos and the thumbnails genuinely concern me. This is, you know, the fact that he as a father thinks it's acceptable to do the things that he does. I think the reason, from what I can tell, the reason why people, the reason why there's so much backlash towards Anna is because Anna is seemingly absolutely fine with a lot of the, like, the creepy and somewhat weird things that Jonathan does. Like, she's seemingly fine and, like, happy with the way that you know, she doesn't have an issue with the way that Jonathan is putting his out there on the internet, and the fact that he's making his kids, you know, making kids a target for paedophiles and stuff on the internet. You know, and that's why she gets a lot of backlash, and I can understand that. You know, it's just, you know, a truly horrendous situation, and it's a situation where social services do need to get involved. You know, as I said, if it was somebody else, I wouldn't, you know, I definitely wouldn't be saying this. I would be wanting to give them the benefit of the doubt, but when it comes to people like Jonathan Joly, it's just impossible for me to give someone like him the benefit of the doubt. There's no way I can do that. You know, I'm not willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because of some of the things I've seen in the videos, the thumbnails he uses. I just can't give someone like that the benefit of the doubt. I just can't. You know, it's like, you know, ages ago, I would have probably been willing to give him the benefit of the doubt, but now it's gotten to the point where I'm not willing to do that. You know, there's just no way I can do that, no possible way for me to do that. There's no way I can actually give him the benefit of the doubt. You know, it's not that I don't want to. It's just that I can't give him the benefit of the doubt. because of the sort of, because of the things that he does, and because of the thumbnails he uses. It's as simple as that. As I said, if what any decent person would do is they would report him. They wouldn't be defending him. They wouldn't be justifying the things that he does. They wouldn't be making excuses for him. They wouldn't think it was normal for him to be doing the things he does. I'm not trying to imply anything. I'm not trying to imply that I think Jonathan's doing bad stuff to his behind closed doors. Maybe I am. Because maybe you can't rule things like that out. I hate to say it, but I guess you can't really rule things like that out. I'm certainly not trying to imply that I think Jonathan is some kind of massive paedophile or some kind of massive, child molester or something like that. I'm not gonna start going down those routes, but a lot of the evidence I've seen on his channel alone shows me that he's not the decent individual that he's made, like the decent person he's made out to me. He's not the love, he's not the, the amazing, great, awesome father that he's made out to be. I think some people seriously need to wake up and get their heads out of his backside. And start seeing sense. People need to start seeing Jonathan for who and what he really is. And start seeing him for the creep that he is, and, for the creep that he is. It's as simple as that. And it's as simple as that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for another one soon. Bye bye.